With the NFL draft quickly approaching, I wanted to run through another mock draft simulation, and today I want to cover the Minnesota Vikings. So before we get to the draft, let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings depth chart to really gauge a game plan of who we're going to want to target in this upcoming draft. So starting out on the offensive side of the ball, we got a really loaded group of skill players with Justin Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook. So honestly, offensively, we're really loaded, but as we look down a little bit further, this is where we're going to see a lot of holes pop up here. And it's going to be the offensive line, especially in the interior here. Ezra Cleveland, Garrett Bradbury, Jesse Davis. We need to add some young pieces early on to be able to compete with these guys and hopefully find a true starting guard for the future, or even push Garrett Bradbury and get a starting center of the future. Now, as we look at the defense side of the ball here, we're going to see this overall, this unit is a mess. We got some nice pieces here and there with Eric Kendricks, Pat Pete, Danielle Hunter, and Zadarius Smith. But outside of just a handful of players, we really need depth and youth across the board here. We need help at the edge rusher position. Danielle Hunter struggled to stay healthy. Zadarius Smith has also dealt with a back injury last year. We need to get younger. We need to find rotational pieces on the D line, at the edge rusher position, at the cornerback position. The defense is going to be the focal point of the draft, no doubt about it. So without further ado, let's jump into the draft, and we're going to be kicking off at pick 112 here, hoping for a cornerback to fall to us, crossing our fingers for a guy like Ahmad Gardner, and we don't. We don't get a cornerback to fall, so we don't get Ahmad Gardner. We don't even get Trent McDuffie. So if a cornerback run happens like this, I think we're going to probably turn and go edge rusher here, and the Senior Bowl standout himself, Jermaine Johnson from Florida State, had phenomenal tape against Ike Ekwonu, who some people rank as the number one tackle in this draft class. So without even thinking about it, Jermaine Johnson is going to fit in perfectly, rotating in and out with Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter on the edge, really going to be able to get after the passer and overall bolster this defensive line. Now we head into the second round here, and I'm already seeing another guy jump off the screen here, and Travis Jones, massive physical guy up front, can play nose tackle, can play D tackle. He's going to manhandle double teams. He's going to manhandle any one-on-one blocks, blowing guards back into the backfield. That's huge. The physicality we added up into the defensive line is already off the charts. So now we look here into the third round, and we've really addressed the defense extremely well. So I think this is where we're going to probably address the offensive side of the ball. And I think the guard from Memphis, Dylan Parham, guard slash center, athletic, I think he'll fit really nice into the Vikings scheme, could be at play here. He's really going to fit well into that wide zone scheme. Max Mitchell's another guy to keep an eye on. We could even think about going secondary here with Marcus Jones, also a later round guy. We might be a little bit of reaching here. Zion McCollum from Sam Houston State's definitely at play. 6'2", 6'3", 4'3" speed, really fluid in and out of his breaks. I think he's a high upside player here. We've addressed the pass rush. We got Jermaine Johnson, the Senior Bowl standout. Travis Jones, that big physical D tackle up front. He's going to be able to manhandle double teams, blow up one-on-one blocks. Really, I think it might be at play here to even go defense again. Like I said, it's going to be our focal point. So let's stay with the same tune here. Let's go ahead, go to the cornerback class here, cornerback position. Zion McCollum, 6'2", 4'3", 40, super athletic, smooth in and out of his breaks. Could use a little bit of time to develop in the physicality aspect, learn how to land his punch properly in press coverage. But I think this is going to be a really good young core of a foundation we added around the defense. So as we round out here, we're not going to have a fourth round pick, so we're going to be looking all the way down here into the fifth round at pick 156. Definitely going to be having in mind here probably offense, specifically offensive line, no doubt. So let's see who fell to us here, and there's not a lot left, is there? Offensive line, we might have missed a shot, which I'm not too worried about because I really like Wyatt Davis bumping over and playing right guard hopefully next year. We haven't got a receiver yet to replace Thielen. I know Thielen's getting up there, and Javion from Coastal Carolina would be a really nice X or Z receiver. That might be the play. JT Woods, we can't overload it. We'll hold off because KJ Osborne did come on late. We don't really need to go receiver here. We have bigger holes and bigger needs. I think we might bump interior offensive line. It's just a reach to go Alec Lindstrom here. It really is. Jack Sanborn's very tempting. I think we're going to go Cordell Volson. It's going to be. I'm going to struggle to really find his role on the Vikings offensive line because I don't think he's not going to be able to play tackle. Christian Darrisaw is a really nice piece. Brian O'Neill is a really nice right tackle that just got paid. So I think this is going to be more of a depth piece. And when we're in the 5th round, I'm not going to really look for starters. I'm going to look for depth here. Christian Darrisaw dealt with a lot of injuries last year. So getting another tackle just to add depth and really if he could bump inside, that's another plus to him. Really just going to kind of think about a depth play there more than filling a major need as a starter. So we look through here a little bit more. Noah Elise from Idaho, but Javion is here from Coastal Carolina. I think we're going to go this route. It might be a little bit of a stretch. Actually, Harrison Smith is getting pretty old, and JT Woods is right here. He's not going to be big enough to play in the box and play that Harrison Smith role, but we could use help in our secondary. JT Woods, I think, is going to be the play. Yeah, he's another blazer there with a 4.3 speed. He's going to be able to play sideline to sideline at free safety. Going to be a developmental piece in the secondary. I really like that pick. And we see Javion fell to us here. I think we're going to go with it. He's going to be an outside receiver, can play the X or Z role. I think he'll be a really nice developmental piece behind Thielen. KJ Osborne and BC Johnson's also still there. So really, like I said, we're looking for depth here, trying to fill out the roster, add pieces in. So it's not going to be the same story as last year that once we get beat up with injuries, we don't have the depth to continue to compete. So I really like it so far. We've built up through the trenches. Really been a solid draft so far. I really like how the boards have fallen. And as we scroll down here a little bit further, I think I'm going to take another, maybe a little bit of a reach here, but Irv Smith's coming back from a knee surgery. Who really knows how healthy he'll be? So let's take one of my favorite tight ends in the draft, Cole Turner, 6'5", 6'6". He's going to be a red zone monster. You're going to be able to throw him back shoulder fades. You're going to be able to throw him jump balls in the end zone. I think he's going to be one of Kirk Cousins' favorite targets down in the red zone. So adds another piece, a nice insurance piece in case Irv Smith's knee injury sets him back on rehab or whatever it might be. It'll be a nice insurance piece moving into the next year. So we've sped through this draft so far. We're already into the 7th round here on our last pick. So we filled a lot of major needs. And I think to send us off, I think I want to go with a quarterback. Oh, we can't. Jack Cohn has already been drafted. I was going to take Kirk Cousins 2.0 and Jack Cohn, but with him already being gone, it's probably for the best because we drafted Kellen Mond early last year. I think Nick Ford's an athletic center that could add depth. I think Nick Ford might be the play here. That Utah scheme, I think, fits really well with the Vikings offensive scheme around that outside zone, wide zone scheme. It's going to add depth, help kind of push Garrett Bradbury. Will he ever start? Probably not, but it's going to add much needed depth at the center position. So we've kind of sped through this draft, so let's slow down here and let's take a look at and really analyze what we hit on and maybe if we missed on something here. So I can move a little bit slow here. Just overviewing it so far, Jermaine Johnson grading the draft. So let's see what PFF wants to grade us out at. I think probably a solid B+ would be a fair grade. B-. So it looks like PFF did not like the Jermaine Johnson pick in the 1st round. I love it. I think it adds depth. I think it's going to be a rotational piece with Darius Smith and Danielle Hunter, and also an insurance policy in case Danielle Hunter doesn't fully play out the season like he has the last few years, and in case the Darius Smith's back injury or another injury pops up. So I love that pick. I think it adds the much needed depth to get after the passer and fix a major hole on the Vikings defense. And then we took Travis Jones in the 2nd round here. Big, like I said, mammoth of a, he's not a mammoth of a man, but he's a thick body, thick in the lower body. He's going to be able to manhandle double teams. He's a space eater that'll allow Eric Kendricks to roam free. If he went to a Power 5 school, he would be talking about as being a top 20 pick. Honestly, he dominated at the Senior Bowl. I loved his tape. So I think adding him down in the trenches next to Dalvin Tomlinson will be huge. And on top of that, we got Jermaine Johnson. We already revamped this defensive front tremendously, stopping the run and getting after the passer. Zion McCollum, we're really drafting him for the upside here. That 4.3 speed with that 6'2", 6'3 height. The height, the athleticism, the smooth coming in and out of his break really adds a super high ceiling. So we're going to be drafting for the ceiling here. Could bust and go terribly and miserably. We're really hoping it doesn't, but I really like the upside here. I think it'll be a really nice value play to replace Patrick Peterson down the road, maybe the following season. And he could definitely rotate in and have value this year. Cordell Volson is really just filling in or drafting for more of a need. I don't really have a specific role for him in mind. So it'll be interesting to see here. I don't love the pick. I agree this is a C- pick. PFF got this right. I don't love it. Really just kind of drafting for depth. JT Woods at safety. He's going to be a really good free safety down the road. He just needs a little bit of development, a little bit of improvement in the football IQ department so he doesn't get... The biggest red flag on tape, like I said, was his busted coverages at Baylor. So if he can get that under control, be able to learn the NFL scheme and sit behind and really just kind of take his time and develop. He's got the athleticism and has the ceiling to be a really good player for years to come. Javion from Coastal Carolina, we're looking to draft the replacement of Adam Thielen here. They're not similar in play style wise, but big catch radius, got a really nice firm hands. He's going to be able to make contested catches. I think he'll be a really nice X or Z receiver for the Vikings to replace Thielen down the road. Cole Turner, same story here. He's going to add depth behind Irv Smith, be an insurance policy in case Irv Smith's knee is not fully ready yet. He's going to be a red zone monster, 6'5", 6'6". Got a lot of his production down in the red zone last year at Nevada with Carson Strong's back shoulder balls, jump balls in the end zones, whatever it might be. I think he'll be a red zone monster for the Vikings and a really nice insurance policy for Irv Smith. Nick Ford from Utah, athletic kid. I think he'll fit in as a depth piece, probably be a practice squad guy, but he'll be able to run that outside zone, wide zone running scheme that Dalvin Cook thrives in extremely well. Maybe push Garrett Bradbury down the road, but I more so see him as a practice squad, developmental depth piece for the team. So overall, I don't think it was a bad draft. I think I'd probably grade out at a B or a B+. I think the defense, we really hit here in these first 3 rounds, developing a solid foundation for the years to come, a young group of guys that I have high expectations for out of this class. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Do you guys like what I drafted here? Do you guys wish I would have went differently? Do you guys think I should have reached and took Andrew Booth in the first since all the corners were gone? Do you guys like the Jermaine Johnson pick? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I love hearing from you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.